I'd like to apologise first of all for putting out a video on my channel about 18 months ago advising people that the only person remotely capable of reversing Labour's fortunes is Andy Burnham. I think I used the phrase not hated, not despised, vaguely competent.
Boy, that escalated quickly. That really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
I do apologise. What we're going to be getting in the next 3 years looks like it's going to be far, far worse than Keir Starmer. It's just that Andy Burnham can put a smile on and can actually articulate a thought and doesn't come across as a complete mandroid. The appointments that the incoming Prime Minister has made are alarming, and they've been highlighted by many people online. And they are all coming from a NGO and charitable organisation, Hope Not Hope. And that's what I want to get into in this video. So thank you for watching. Without further ado, I'm going to go through some of the bits and pieces here, but it is truly shocking that Andy Burnham doesn't think we've got the receipts and we can actually look into what these people are doing. So thank you. Before we actually forget, Hate Not Hope is not impartial. It is a charity and it is also an NGO, and I'll get into the particulars on that in a minute or so. During the Southport unrest after the murders of those children by that Welsh choir boy, we had Nick Lalls, formerly of Hate Not Hope, going on blast on X, saying that white British people were acid bombing Muslims and that perpetuated attacks on white British people. He didn't get arrested for that, and he basically just put out a tweet and apologised. Job's a good one. And that's Hate Not Hope for you. And this is the type of people we are dealing with. Then we get this one, Guido. They put this out earlier on today. Matthew McGregor swiftly deleted his X account ahead of entering number 10 on Monday as Burnham's new head of political strategy. He was previously Director of Campaigns and Communications for Hate Not Hope from January 2018 to October 2021. Fortunately, he kept the receipts, i.e. Guido did, and he is obviously very anti-Farage and very anti-Brexit as well. So nice impartial advisor and director of strategy for Andy Burnham, whose constituency voted overwhelmingly to leave the European Union back in 2016. So that's the first thing we need to get into. Then we get into this from Andrew Bridgen, former Tory MP and now a Restore Britain activist and member. Andy Burnham has hired Matthew McGregor, the former director of Hate Not Hope, and was part of the Obama campaign, and is head of political strategy. Matthew McGregor helped Obama secure victory in both 2008 and 2012 using his digital campaign skills. So McGregor has a history of working with very dodgy people who have fully signed up to the WEF New World Order agenda. Don't know if I'll go that far, Andrew, but you are onto something, so we'll give you credit for that. So thank you for your contribution. This is from Connor Tomlinson. He put this tweet out, this information, so it is welcome, and thank you for that. Andy Burnham has hired Matthew McGregor, former director of Hate Not Hope, as director of political strategy in number 10, and Alison Phillips, a current board member of Hate Not Hope, as his director of transition. Starmer appointed former Hate Not Hope trustee Baroness Ruth Anderson, formerly Smeath, as Parliamentary Secretary for the Cabinet Office. Smeath worked with McGregor at Hate Not Hope. Hate Not Hope continues to be rewarded by the state despite employing paedophile Labour councillor Leon Velleman and violent communist Matthew Collins. McGregor worked for the Obama campaign in 2012 and led the Hate Not Hope campaign against the Brexit Party in 2019. Thank you for that. And Connor continues. McGregor also is on the board of the charity Reprieve, which campaigns for the abolition of the ability to strip citizenship from the likes of Rochdale grooming gang leader Shabir Ahmed and Shamima Begum. Phillips was the editor of the Daily Mirror from 2018 to 2024 and head of Think Labour. He has also hired Hayden Munro, former campaign director for New Zealand's COVID tyrant Jacinda Ardern, and Sarah Brown, who has been Sadiq Khan's communications director for the past 5 years. Burnham's chief of staff will be a friend, former Labour minister, former Blair's Institute for Public Policy Research, and former BBC Director of Strategy and Digital, James Purnell. Every patriot now has a target on their back, and Burnham even will be worse on immigration and censorship than Starmer. Completely agree. All of these people have been rewarded for services to the realm, and now they are going to be helping Prime Minister Andy Burnham. This is a disgrace, and they are going to come down on us hard and fast, in my view. It's just, unlike Starmer, who was a robot, Burnham will do it with a smile on his face and say it's because we're evil. But I digress. I wouldn't necessarily have much of an issue with the left-leaning NGOs if, when a right-of-centre government got into power, they would have the same NGOs but on the right of centre. So if there was a right-leaning equivalent of Hate Not Hope and all of the other NGOs that we could lean on when we get into power, it wouldn't be that much of an issue because there'd be equality, and that is better than what we've got currently, where it's all skewed a particular direction. Many may say, well, we need to get rid of all of these directly. Well, I agree. If we're not going to have the parity, we're not going to have the equivalence on both sides of the political spectrum, then you need to get rid of Hate Not Hope. And there's countless others. Stand Up to Racism, Care for Cali, they're all pretty much the same thing. They all need to go, or if they're not going to go, we need to be treated equally. This is the thing. All of these organisations are designed to preserve the particular worldview that we are currently in. The Hate Not Hope, we're going to get into that now. They have a campaigning wing, which is the NGO private company, Hate Not Hope Limited, legal status, limited company registered with Companies House and the Electoral Commission. The function entirely handles the organisation's primary political advocacy, undercover research, fake passports and whatnot, and public campaigns against the far right, i.e. people like me, what they deem extremism. Note, it is not a charity, meaning it is legally permitted to engage in political campaigning and election-related campaigning and related activity. So this is why they were able to put out the anti-reform, anti-Nigel Farage propaganda on behalf of the Labour Party during the Makerfield by-election recently. This is why. So that's the first part. That is the first part of the organisation. Then you go into the second part here, the charitable ring. This is where the government gives them money as a registered charity, and all the political parties, including Reform UK, were actually using them for vetting Hope Not Hate, or Hope Unlimited Charitable Trust, known as Hope Not Hate Charitable Trust. Legal status, registered charity registered by the Charity Commission for England and Wales. The branch functions strictly on community engagement, educational programmes, grant-making, research into social harmony, etc. Recent changes. Following a company review by the Charity Commission, the trust changed its name to Hope Unlimited Charitable Trust to establish a transparency to strict boundary between itself and the political activities of the limited company. The issue is, all of these people, the Fabians, the liberal elite, the lefty lovies, they're all in the same circles, and they are all there to protect this particular worldview, which is the post-war consensus, which has done nothing but immiserate and bring poverty to the Western world, in my view. David Starkey sums it up pretty well here, and he says that the Fabians couldn't organise their way out of a paper bag, essentially. But there's strength in numbers, and that's what you need to remember. There's strength in numbers. They may be midwits, they may be low IQ, they may be very, very obtuse, but they're all over the place. And this is the thing. Together, the combined IQ is extensive because they're just all over the place. You can have 200 million midwits, and they will still outsmart 10 geniuses on the other side.
Know most of the leading members. I know most of the leading members of the Fabian Society. I was a Dom at LSE, the heart of Fabianism, for 25 years. And believe me, they couldn't conspire their way out of a paper bag. But what they do is they set intellectual fashion. And they campaign very, very effectively for two things which have been deeply destructive. The first is they campaign for bureaucracy, to replace ordinary human relations, and particularly charitable activity, by state bureaucracy. And that's the real danger. We've got to ask again. We go on, and I've been going on about why we were capable of self-government. We didn't just have self-government when we had a parliamentary election. We had self-government through juries. We had self-government through every parish council. We had self-government through the poor law. We had self-government through trade unions, through friendly societies, through the charities that ran schools and hospitals. And what the Fabians were determined to do, what is the great message of the Labour Party, building on the enormous, vast creation of big state machinery from 1916, we were talking about the World Wars. The real mechanism of our state is invented in 1916, particularly the Cabinet Office, the administrative power of the Prime Minister, and so on. And the Fabians seized that moment to turn us into a bureaucracy.
This is why the people that Burnham has appointed, or will appoint on Monday, after kissing hands, will have most of the power. This is the bureaucracy in action. They'll be doing most of the decision making, and Burnham will merely be signing off on it. And they're all extreme leftists.
All the things we've been talking about that present so much problem, the quangos, the legal system, the universities, all the things that Matt Goodwin was talking about, they're all run by the same kind of people, with the same kind of education and the same kind of values that are essentially Fabian, vaguely leftish values.
And if you step outside of that paradigm, if you step outside of that worldview, they come for you. They call you a racist. They call you a bigot. They'll seize your computer equipment. They will read you the Riot Act. They will arrest you. And all of this is death by 1,000 cuts. They want to make you afraid, and they want you back in your box and not questioning what they are doing. This isn't accountable government. This is ruled by fear. This is ruled by fear, and it is the rules of a political coward and a tyrant because they do not like being questioned. They're right, you're wrong.
And then the other thing is, what the Fabians campaign for is the expert. That's so you can see that it's in one sense it looks like a conspiracy. It's simply the result of a particular moment in time, of a particular development. The British state barely existed before 1916. It's then the culminating effect of two world wars, and above all, ladies and gentlemen, the creation of the welfare state. So that's what it is. That's what does it. The deliberate destruction of charitable activity, of self-help by the welfare state.
This is another issue I've got with the climate change. I don't mind fighting climate change if it was private charity, if it was philanthropy, if it was people who have got too much money, more money than sense. If they want to blow their money fighting climate change with technologies that are not cost effective, knock yourself out. You waste your money however you want to waste your money. The way that is currently done, where they put the green energy levy on your bill, I don't agree with that because there's not money well spent. Let me know if you agree or disagree.
And remember, that's again to throw over to Mark, it's only in the 1940s, not even in the Second World War, did the person on an average income pay income tax. Income tax is only paid by people on average income once you set up the welfare state.
I never knew that until recently. Only after World War II or around World War II did regular Joes and Janes pay income tax because there was no need for us to pay it before. And now we have to pay for it. Anyway, we're going to end this here. You let me know anyway. Do you think I'm overstating things here? Do you think I'm understating things? Do you think Burnham has revealed his hand before he's even got a whiff of power because he's putting all of these hate or hope people into government to make all the decisions and to come down on anyone smart, right of centre, or rejecting the post-war consensus? Let me know. All opinions are valid as always. Like and subscribe, do all that great stuff. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.